Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. It's a new year, and you know what that means. Absolutely nothing. Things are going to be pretty much the same, probably worse.
Yes.
Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as lateralizing hypertension and Happy New Year, so I will try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Hey, Dr. London.
Hey, what's
Hey,
what's been going on with you with all the holidays going on?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know what you were doing. I just said hey, and then you were saying hey. I was trying to just meet your energy.
Yeah. That's why. So I asked, what?
Hey.
Yeah. So I said hey, but what if? I was just asking how the holidays have been going for you.
Oh, they've been going pretty good. Lots of hot chocolate and staying warm by the fire with blankets and, the old, praying to the general and all those things. Your normal kind of holiday family stuff.
So, so praying to the general. Is that in reference to the sort of intel that we have about? Anyway, that's fine. Listeners can go back to a different episode if they need to. Also with us is DJ Jill in the house.
Happy New Year.
DJ Jill in the house.
Happy New Year.
DJ Jill in the house.
I only have regrets. I only have regrets. I only have regrets. I only have regrets. I only have regrets.
And later we can actually sometimes we find ourselves losing sponsors, and so instead of a guest, we're gonna try to win back some of our sponsors. So that's
I really hate the framing of this. It's like I don't. These aren't ex-sponsors. They were sponsors who were special to us for a period of time, but nothing lasts forever.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, so, and one of the reasons
you didn't see them as your ex when you were living in that moment,
Yeah,
they meant a lot to you. And even though that's over, it's okay. And to say that you lost them is to say that, honestly, it is to say you would be a different person because you're asking for different circumstances to happen in your life.
So this is, I guess, to compare it to having an ex, this is like if you intentionally got rid of your ex for no reason when the relationship was great, and then you just botched the relationship for no reason at great cost to yourself personally.
And that was what needed to happen in that moment to be who you are today.
We can get back to that, but before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. So this note, I found... Okay, so there's a snowman outside the house, and The snowman appeared to be holding this note in its stick hands. So I guess he's a listener? Anyway, so the note reads, quote, "If his cancer was getting free, you should have told us sooner. Now it's loose," end quote. So I guess let me repeat that just because it gets confusing to me. If his cancer was getting free, you should have told us sooner. Now it's loose.
Yeah, he's probably got some friends or family, the snowman, who's had cancer, didn't realize it was sort of, out there, spreading around.
So normally, well, first of all, to this listener, this snowman, I guess, thank you for reaching out to us here at the Jock Talk podcast. So whenever someone is cancer-free, that means that they don't have cancer.
Yes.
And that's all it means. It doesn't.
Oh, okay. So I'm cancer-free.
Yes.
Yeah, as far as we know, yeah.
Okay, so you think it's okay for me to go around telling people that I'm cancer-free?
Yes.
Okay, no.
Because you're saying it is true.
I am saying that it is true, but you're right to point it out. If you say that you are cancer-free or you're a cancer survivor, normally you would have had a previous diagnosis of some form of cancer beforehand in order to make that statement, bear more weight. And socially, it would come across as you have been diagnosed.
Are you telling me that I'm not cancer-free?
No.
Oh, gosh.
No, I'm not. Okay, Cameron.
I don't have insurance because I withdrew from it at the beginning of the year because I wanted to put all that money into a soda machine that I bought. I really shouldn't have done that. I thought it's going to make way more than insurance.
And you're still going to call that a soda machine.
Oh.
Because just because you can put drinks into it and then drinks come out of it doesn't make it a soda machine.
I really miss when I was cancer-free.
Okay. So anyway, to this listener, being cancer-free, that doesn't mean that there's some like loose cancer on the prowl or something. It just means that you don't have cancer anymore. I should have clarified that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a creature running around, but it is a contagious disease, and this is one of the reasons that we wear masks and socially distance is because cancer's on the loose.
Okay, but no. So it's actually the reason why we wear masks is because there's an airborne, highly contagious virus, but it's not a as far as we're aware, it's not a cancer-causing virus. Although chronic inflammation, chronic irritation can lead to cancer. But in any case, thank you to this listener thank you to the snowman for reaching out. And I guess you didn't really have much of a choice. Your arms are kind of stiff there. But now for today's medical topic: acute respiratory failure. Acute respiratory failure results when there is inadequate oxygenation of blood or inadequate ventilation, which is the elimination of CO2, or both. So this is a large topic that has a number of causes, so I will try to be brief in my explanation here. So one basic principle behind this concept, or behind this condition, is the concept of ventilation and perfusion. So ventilation.
How about maybe to save time in this segment, because there are so many causes, is that in the background while you do this, I'll list all of the causes.
Of acute respiratory failure? Did you study up on this? Do you know?
I did, yeah. I took a class on it, actually.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, so you'll have your time. If you could do it kind of softly, though, because, of course, I have to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Because I want to explain the physiology of it. So ventilation refers to one's ability to breathe air in and out from the lungs. And perfusion refers to the circulation of blood within the lungs.
Be caused by breathing in
a ventilation.
Like a boat smells too much. Sort of, the smell when you're sitting on like a dock or like a boat.
Are you asking me?
if you smell that too much. No, I'm listening. I'm listing this quietly in the background for the listeners. I'm not speaking to you at all. I'm listing things that can cause, acute, respiratory failure syndrome.
Right. So a ventilation perfusion mismatch, also termed VQ mismatch, refers
If
to
you drink Dr. Pepper
when
at too
part of
high
a lung
temperature,
is able to ventilate without blood flow or is
so
able
too
to circulate
warm
blood flow
Dr.
without
Pepper
proper ventilation.
can cause it.
So the general
If you've
criteria
seen
to define
all of
acute
Buffy-
respiratory failure are
if you've
hypoxia with
seen
the
all of Buffy
oxygen,
the Vampire
arterial
Slayer,
oxygen
that
less
increases
than
your
60
chances of
millimeters of
catching it
mercury,
by
hypercapnia with partial pressure of
55%.
CO2 greater than 50
but only if you
millimeters of
saw it in the
mercury.
original
So Cameron, I'm not
aired
sure if
order, which is different than the DVD order.
so
Excuse me, what's up?
So it's my understanding that people listening to podcasts don't like to hear it whenever people are just talking over each other the whole time. So
we're saving time. Also DJ Dylan. Okay, so DJ Dylan, maybe to make this easier on the listeners, can you split me and London's audio so one is in one headphone ear and the other is in the other headphone ear?
Yes.
I think that would help, right?
I
That
don't
way they
think
can choose which one they want to listen to, or how it's supposed to be intended, listen to both at the same time and learn both things. It's like speed reading.
you know what, DJ Dylan, do what you would like here. I'm just gonna keep.
So just pan our audio into opposite stereo tracks.
Yes. Okay, well, so I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm so sorry to our listeners if this is problematic for you. So clinically, a patient will present with shortness of breath and possibly cough. On exam, they may be unable to speak in complete sentences.
Pets.com back
and
in the
also
day. Remember
maybe using the
Pets.com? It was
accessory
like a
muscles of
big
respiration to breathe. They may also have
tech
tachypnea,
bubble,
and that's increased rate
kinda like
of breathing.
failure
That's
story.
increased respiration.
So if you
They
bought
get
anything from
tachycardia,
there,
that's elevated heart rate.
you've definitely been
You can have
exposed to
cyanosis, as indicated by
acute
parts of the body
respiratory failure.
turning the color cyan or blue, or they may have impaired mentation. Diagnosis can be confirmed via arterial
ever had
blood
like a
gas
breakfast
or
burrito?
EKG analysis, which can show hypoxemia, hypercapnia, and altered pH.
If
Chest
it had
X-ray
any
or CT
sort
scan of the
of
chest can also be helpful,
cheese
as can
in it,
bronchoscopy with bronchoalveolar
or any sort of
lavage, depending on the,
potatoes, or any sort of
suspected
meat, or
underlying
any sort of
illness.
eggs.
To treat
or if it was on
acute
a
respiratory
tortilla,
failure, your focus
then
will be
fortunately
on
there's
the underlying
a
cause,
higher
but in
chance
general,
of
you will try to keep the oxygen
of
saturation
exposure.
over 90%. When it comes to mechanical ventilation, the most important
if you
principle,
saw Along Came Polly,
include using high positive and expiratory
there's a
pressure.
part at
That's
the
PEP,
very end after the
PEP,
credits,
rather,
and if you
with low
stayed
tidal
for
volumes.
that,
Fluid management
this
varies
only
depending
in
on the illness,
theaters.
with fluid
it
overload
sort of had like a
generally being
fun
state to
interactive
avoid,
component to
unless
it
the
where it
patients
would
have a condition
sort of
requiring
like spray
high
this
fluid
glitter on the
supplementation,
audience at the
such
very
as
end,
sepsis.
whoever stayed.
Lastly, do
That
not forget
glitter
to address
is
the patient's
extremely
nutritional
toxic.
needs. Tube
So,
feedings are preferred over parenteral
really,
nutrition.
if you were there, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry, Cameron.
What's up?
Was some of your, and because I wasn't listening to you because I was busy with my own lesson. Was one of the things that you just said that because you were there, as in like, well, who are you talking to?
I'm talking to people who might have been exposed. So, like, for example, in the last one I was saying, in theaters at Along Came Polly years ago when that was in theaters, if you stayed for the after credit sequence all the way to the end, there was an interactive like crowd feature where they would like spray glitter on the audience. That glitter is extremely toxic, and that's one of the causes. I'm sorry for trying to tell our listeners about this.
And you're sure that that's a cause of acute respiratory failure?
Yes.
How,
According to the class that I took.
wait, what class did you take?
I mean, it was online.
Okay, so that's not, what was the class called?
What do you mean? Well, it was called. It was just, you just go to en.wikipedia.org. I'm just doing the exact same thing you do, and you hit random.
Okay. So you didn't take a class. You went and searched Wikipedia for. Okay. Well,
I paid someone $1,100 an hour, so
to do what?
for the class.
You
Like, I guess to get credit. Trust me, I always think, like, especially since most of these classes are online these days, kind of like, what am I paying for? I'm paying for a teacher to grade my Google searches. Okay. But sometimes you get, in this day and age, you still got to get a degree. So
Yeah. Okay, we can go ahead and move on from there, I guess. All right. So Cameron, as you know, we've lost more sponsors this year. We hardly had any this year, honestly, compared to the year before, and I can't help but think that part of that might be your approach to our sponsors.
well, I mean, what do you even know what my approach is? I feel like you're not even involved in this process, really.
That's true. It's mostly what you've told me about the process that makes me think that your approach is off.
Well, okay, what have I told you about the process? Because I don't really remember most of that stuff either.
Your approach, you don't remember it?
Yeah, because I don't keep track of things. I hate to admit that.
Yeah, it is kind of your job to keep track of it. So for our listeners, what Cameron does is he will go exploring. He will call it going exploring. He will go get his rattiest clothes, which, that's not like some turn of phrase. It's a clothes that he says would most benefit rats, would most fit rats. So they're very small and grimy and are covered in rat feces.
And
so he will put on these clothes.
I learned from the experts, and the expert in this situation would be Aladdin, also known as a street rat, who wore rat clothes. That's why his clothes didn't fit him properly, because they were made for rats.
That's your understanding. Okay, so in any case, so Cameron wears his. I mean, even street rat isn't it's just rat clothes. But so he wears these clothes, and then he goes out he calls it the wilderness. It is just the there's a park nearby. He goes to the park.
Yeah, and it's a mall. It's like a mini mall.
Yeah. Well, and there's sort of this closed up. There's this grassy area. Whenever I say park, it is. Cameron's right. It is enclosed within the mall. There's this sort of nature area of it, and so he climbs through, digs a hole, and he constructs what he calls his nest. And he keeps stirring it around, bringing in. He goes to the different places near the different vendors. He'll ask for a cup of water. He'll bring it back. He'll pour it, stir up some mud, go over there, ask for another cup of water, and
maybe gather sticks along the way.
Yeah. And so Cameron will do this, fill his, get his pit going. And that is what he refers to. He says, "Got to get my pit going," and then those sticks that we were referencing. He builds his nest, as he called it, and then he'll put up a flag. This is the only part that he seems to prepare beforehand. Is he does have a flag, and he'll put that up, and the flag has it's a banner that reads, "Looking for sponsors," and it's just a lot of typos.
Well, and it's the "Don't Tread on Me" snake too.
Yeah.
So it's yellow with the snake, but it says, looking for sponsors.
Yeah, and so people will walk by, and Cameron will swipe at their legs as they walk by. He'll scramble out, sort of like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Or Cameron doesn't like the comparison. Smeagol from Lord of the Rings.
Yes, yeah. They're different. I don't even know if they've ever met, but I think they're cousins.
Right, so Cameron will, in a Smeagol sort of approach, he'll he'll kind of scramble out on all fours. Not even, I feel like Smeagol has like
More clothes than what I'm wearing.
yes, yeah, Smeagol does wear more, but also Smeagol will lift his torso off the ground, which you don't bother to do that whenever you crawl.
No, it's dragging for the most part.
Yeah, so you'll swipe at legs, and if you catch a leg, then you pull them into your pit, and you hop into your nest, and you call yourself king, and whenever if they ask king of what do you mean, and you're like, you will say king of this nest, look, and then they will be trying to leave, and so this, and that's the part that you call networking. And then
Nest working, yeah.
yeah, oh, nest, yeah, that's right. See, I guess it's one of those things where like you have a word that you always you have a term that you understand all the time, and then whenever someone has a slight change to it, you don't always notice it. But yes, nest working does make more sense in a way. So so you will do this. You will have your nest.
Ooh, except you're wrong, Dr. London. This is not what I do. You have my process entirely wrong.
Okay.
I don't... The people's feet that I swipe at, and then I pull them into the nest,
Yeah.
those don't end up being the sponsors. Is that what you were about to suggest?
Yes. Well, like that it was the first step in the process.
No. They call the security guard, and then I pull him in, and then I ask him if he knows anyone who would be a sponsor.
Okay, so
And that's all of our sponsors and most of our guests come from this process.
so it's mostly security guard at the specific mall. Is it the same guy every time?
It's their friends. It's their friends.
Is it the same guard?
I mean, it'll be different guards depending on the mall, the park in the mall.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so it's because I was gonna say it's all the same mall. It's just which park. Okay.
On different sides, different days. You know, some people only work holidays.
Yeah. Okay, so in any case, Cameron will find people. I guess, yeah, long story short.
Yeah, I'll find them usually $50 for tampering with the nest. And I'll find them $150 if they try to steal any of my sticks.
Yeah, which your fines are just written in mud that you write on their faces.
Yeah, but I attach to that their face sort of like a Polaroid of my handgun.
Yeah.
So it's not a threat as much as it is just sort of a
Bragging.
a prod,
I was
I
going to
guess.
say bragging right is
Yeah, just sort of saying like what I have.
Yeah, I have.
I can afford a gun.
yeah. So anyway, so this is Cameron's process. So it's for that reason that I'm suspicious of a lot of his sponsors, and you know, a lot of sponsors he brings on, and it might be why some of them are suspect. It might be why we lose some of the sponsors as well. So this is an episode dedicated to those sponsors that we lost and to try to bring them back. That's, you know, they might be a little sus, but you know, we do love our sponsors, no matter how sus.
Yes.
So,
How sus they must.
so in any case, we can, if we want to get going, let's just play a clip. You know, we're
How
gonna
sus they must be.
play a sponsor, and we're going to just, you know, make our appeal, I guess.
Well, and what I love about this new sponsor of ours is that it's from a field that we've never seen before. Everyone's heard all these ads for like, you know, domain hosts and, food delivery services or stamps or whatever. But this is the first of its kind. And we are talking about a new form of time that you can buy today on this podcast.
I'm sorry, a new form of what? A pastime?
Time.
Did you mean? Like a new
Are you tired of
hobby?
the Gregorian calendar where it's like March, September, February? Are you tired of 24 hours a day, 60 minutes an hour, 60 seconds a minute, blah, 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 blah? That's the old
that's-
way, Dr. London. The new form of time that you can learn about for only $49.99 is a new form of time called lunchtime. That's right. You're thinking, wait, I know about lunchtime. That's the time of day that I eat lunch. And you would be absolutely right. But lunchtime as a time, as a concept, is a new binary form of clock.
So you're. Well, it sounds like a confusing product. Wait, this isn't.
This is a new form of. Aren't you tired of looking at the clock and being like, 9:22? What does that mean? 4:31? Huh? Now, you look at the clock and it either says lunchtime or not lunchtime. That's it. Those are the only two things you know from here on out.
So there's only one.
It simplifies everything. Why do we have all these complicated mechanisms? Have you ever seen inside of a clock and how complicated that is?
Yeah.
You know what's way more simple than that? Way more easy to understand, and maybe isn't such a, this kind of like difficult entry level for everyone to just figure out, but is actually intuitive. It's lunchtime.
It sounds like basically
It either is lunchtime or it isn't lunchtime, and that, my friend, is lunchtime. And this is not, they do want to stress, this is not a novelty clock.
Because
like
that's-
one of those clocks that says like that right at 5 p.m. it says quitting time or, fishing time or something like that. That is not this.
because it also barely
This is
sounds
a complete.
like a clock. It just sounds more like an alarm almost because it's just one time of day.
Well, it does come with a clock, but it's not like one of those clocks. It's more like,
Is it analog or digital or?
I would say somewhere in between those. It's somewhat like a, it's like a laser tag type of set. And you've got to wear like your chest and your belt pieces all the time. Kind of like you do when you're playing laser tag, and then it'll zap you and it'll say lunchtime.
So that sounds like a more, I guess, annoying alarm, but it still sounds like an alarm.
It's not an alarm at all. It's a true reconceptualizing of time itself. Wow. And for $49.99, not only do you get the laser tag clock set, but you also get books on how to retrain your brain to learn about this new form of time that's so much simpler, that's going to save you so much time. It comes with training courses. It comes with video series, Blu-ray discs. There's even an option for extensive surgery, Dr. London.
Surgery based on lunchtime.
It's taking the part of your brain that thinks in time in 60-second increments and changes it towards thinking in more of a binary simplified version. It either is lunchtime or is not lunchtime.
Well, I mean, if they're paying, $50 and they're getting books and training videos and things, then that does sound like it could be at least new knowledge. So that's okay. That's something.
And I think what's great about this is, you're going to end up saving so much time because in normal life, how many times a day do you think about the damn clock? You're like,
About the clock
it's
itself?
4:35. I guess it's 25 minutes till the end of work. Then I go home at 5 o'clock and my commute is going to be 45 minutes long.
Yes.
But maybe I can have dinner by 6 if I get home and put it on my food on the pot for 15 minutes, blah, blah, blah. You know what this new world looks like, Dr. London? Oh, hey, it's not lunchtime. I'm going to go home. It's going to take, probably a lunchtime's amount of time to get over there.
Well,
And then hopefully when I get home, because I'm pretty hungry, hopefully my clock changes to lunchtime so I can finally eat.
so you're waiting a lunchtime's amount. So there is a measured amount of time in there. It's not just a. Anyway, it sounds, hopefully it sounds like people will be getting a physical product whenever they pay. So
Yes, they will.
that is a step up from some of our previous advertisers.
But what they're really getting is a change in lifestyle.
All right, well, thank you. And what was the name of the sponsor?
Lunchtime.
Oh, lunchtime.
It's lunchtime.
All right. Thank you to Lunchtime. All right. So that was our sponsor, Lunchtime. And
what?
the body modification specifically the brain surgery, they ran into a lot of ethical issues. I don't want to disparage them because, of course, we want them back. But I do just want to be honest with our listeners and say that, whenever they referred to the body surgery, the body modifications, it was brain surgery to disrupt one's perception of time. And we didn't address that in the ad, in part because I didn't want it to reflect so poorly. What if my assumptions or understanding of it were wrong?
Well, and because we started to explain it, but the section that I had recorded was too loud, so we had to take it out. It was hurting people's ears.
Yeah. Well, because you were yelling.
Yeah.
I mean, you were saying like, they're trying to take over your brain.
Well, yeah, and because I wanted people to know.
Yeah,
But it was just too loud, so we had to take it out.
In any case, so they have run into some funding issues, which, that might be, Cameron, why they stopped sponsoring. Like, I thought it could be something about your management style, but, perhaps it was solely because of their ethical problems and the botched surgeries that...
Yeah, I don't know why this is being blamed on me so suddenly.
Yeah, it's one of those things where just there's a history of our sponsors being like you trying to get rid of them, it seems. And it seems like that was not the case today. It seems like really...
Oh, okay. You're the type of person to hold someone's history against them. You don't believe in forgive and forget, huh?
When you're in business with someone and, they're forgetting...
Okay. Nope.
Forgetting will result in...
Nothing more to say. That's, you see this as a business relationship.
Well, yeah,
I get it.
What did you see it as?
No, nothing. Not just the kind of person who, anytime you have a nightmare and you need someone to read you a bedtime story to go back to sleep, you call me. But, I didn't realize you do that with business associates.
Okay, well, because that is, to be fair, just so it's out there, like that is a business that's a side hustle of yours.
Well, yeah.
Having people call you to have a book read.
Yeah. Well,
and you only have 3 books, correct?
Well, yeah. So, yeah, Clockwork Orange, Jurassic Park, and A Million Little Pieces, which is the Oprah book that was a lie from that guy.
Right. So it'll be the middle. I'm just thinking in the middle of the night whenever I wake up from a nightmare, what will calm
and
me
Hillbilly
down?
Elegy.
Okay, yeah. Oh, you added a new one. Okay.
Yep.
Well, okay, so
I saw the trailer for that movie and was like, oh, I have to get it.
Well, you know what? I guess, to our listeners, this is another well, it's not a sponsor, but here's a free advertisement. Cameron does this business. Middle of the night, you have a scary dream. You can call him up. He will...
Bill your insurance. I just go straight to your insurance so you don't even have to worry about payment or anything.
Yeah, because as you emphatically argued in Congress, this is a medical procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, do you want to move on to the next clip?
Sure.
All right.
As long as you acknowledge that them leaving was not my fault. If anything, it was DJ Dylan's fault.
Nope.
Hey,
And look at DJ Dylan's face, and you try to accuse him of something being his fault.
impossible.
You can't.
Nope.
The thought hurt whenever it tried to happen for a second.
Yep.
But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
This is a dating app specifically for mediums. It's called Medium Meetup.
Okay, and to clarify, this isn't like the size of clothing they wear.
I actually don't know that.
Okay.
because I haven't asked the clothing size of the people on the site.
Okay.
But this is for people whose profession is a medium, people who speak to the dead, people who can access the spiritual realm,
Right.
and speak to people who have passed.
And
Fortune tellers, psychics.
so it seems like, okay, so this is specifically for mediums to meet other mediums,
Yes.
and I guess that would be a big thing for them to have in common. Okay.
And one of the coolest things about this new dating site is, what would you guess the URL of this site would be?
Mediummeetups.com.
Wrong.
Okay.
Try again.
Mediummeetupsapp.com.
Nope.
Medium meetups. Okay. Okay.
Dr. London, you're already wrong because it's not a URL at all.
Okay.
It's a state of mind, because these are mediums, right? They can access the spiritual realm. They can speak to people on the other side, but they also can communicate without speaking.
Sure.
Just like I was doing earlier to you when I was describing the after dark concept.
Oh, and because I wasn't so I feel like you're confusing the term psychic with medium, for one thing.
So you weren't a medium.
Yeah, you also weren't a psychic. You couldn't, because a psychic, that's the classic idea where it's someone who can push, thoughts or feelings or whatever into someone else's mind. Whereas a medium is, like you said, communicating with the dead. Unless you think that one of us is dead, then that...
I can't guarantee that on either of our parts.
Okay. Okay, so anyway, so these mediums
Yep.
communicate. They use the app.
There's no app.
Oh, they use the...
There's no website. They use their powers to communicate with each other and then say, hey, we should go to do you like Domino's or Pizza Hut? Well, I was raised with Pizza Hut, so I guess that's what I prefer. But, it doesn't bother me as long as it's not Papa John's. And he's like, well, actually, I like Papa John's. I would say that's maybe my favorite.
Why do they need medium meetup at all? It sounds like this is just how they communicate anyway.
Basically, what it does is you pay for the service, and it gives you a secret code. So then, in their spiritual world or wherever, you're hearing all these different voices. They're able to just zone in on the secret code.
Okay.
That's someone else using the site, and it's not a site.
Nope.
So is there one person who's just one medium who is creating this code and pushing that thought out there, or is there a dead person doing? That's what I'm.
To get the code, you do have to download an app.
Okay, so there's one part that's an actual physical thing.
When it's like a series of apps.
Okay.
Because you have to download the Medium store first, the Medium Play Store. That allows you to access all the apps in the store. And then from there, you've got to download the Medium Meetup code generating app.
And then you just use that app.
Yeah, so it's really just two.
Okay. Well, it sounds...
And then it generates a code, and then you just think about that code really hard. And then other people start popping up on your little grid or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, well, admittedly, I wouldn't claim to be a medium, so
Yep.
I can't really speak to how this technology would affect a medium. So with that in mind, I guess we can just be thankful that they chose to sponsor through us, because I guess maybe some of our listeners are mediums, and this is a great way to reach them.
I have to think a huge part of our listenership is mediums.
Yeah, primarily children.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's...
Right? Sixth Sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that he seemed like more of an exception, maybe. But maybe that's just normal. Yeah, once again, I don't know enough about this to speak to it. Okay.
Yeah, no one was questioning that,
Okay.
Dr. London.
All right, well, I guess...
People might not believe in ghosts, but they at least believe in your incompetence.
Okay, well, okay, anything else on the ad copy for medium meetups?
It says to not look up the CEO. It says don't Google him.
Okay. So to our
And
listeners,
his name has been blacked out, so I can't. But it says, like, don't look into the company. Don't investigate it too much. Don't think about it too hard. Just download the apps. That says that in huge letters.
Okay, so that's an all cap. Okay, well, to our listeners, please, follow that. It sounds like you wouldn't need to look it up to. If you're a medium, I'm sure you're already maybe tertiary, like have some awareness of this app. So, thank you to our sponsor. So that was, a great sponsor. They were very kind to join and advertise on our podcast. So it seemed odd to me at the time that they chose us because, Cameron, you don't have any history of being a medium, correct?
I definitely was when I was, maybe a little bit lighter. If I lost a few pounds, I could probably go back to being a medium.
Yeah. So okay. Well,
What? That's the same joke that I made in the clip that we just heard.
Yes.
Yeah, and the joke that I made in any case, but yes, that's not the issue to which I was referring, but the people who can speak with the dead. So I'm wondering, well, first of all, and this is really to our listeners, I guess, who looked up the CEO? Who looked up all the details in this company? Because we got blowback.
Yeah, and
it's just frustrating because there's one condition. Don't look it up.
we told
that
y'all.
hard?
We tried to warn y'all. But the second you did it, your IP address was tracked.
Mm-hmm.
They knew it came straight from this podcast, and like London said, they blew out our backs. Mm-hmm. While we were sleeping in the middle of the night, they took baseball bats. They beat our spines up. Mm-hmm. And now my back is killing me, Dr. London.
Yeah, and mine feels great now. I think they hit it just the right way.
Ugh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, very frustrating that they broke in to do that because I didn't have to replace the lock, but I'm thinking about replacing the locks anyway.
Okay, well, I'm permanently injured, but sure, yeah. I'm sorry about your locks.
I accept your apology. So, anyway, to our listeners, the other issue that came about, not just the physical beating, is that now Cameron and I are both haunted, and so I could not speak to the dead before. Now I don't, just to make a point, but they do speak to me now. I don't know, Cameron, have you had the same issue? Because it seems like deliberate, them setting something on me.
Yeah, how can I put this? The reason you have this ability is also the same reason I don't. It was kind of a trade. You feel me?
Wait, so I thought it was just a punishment for our listeners looking up the company details.
It was a punishment on the person who looked up the company's details. And then that person maybe sort of passed it to you in your cereal.
Cameron, were you the one who looked up the company details? Was this you?
It's impossible to know.
You allowed me to admonish our listeners whenever you were guilty of the crime.
And again, it's impossible to know fully because of sort of the way, global warming has affected all of us in different ways,
Yeah. So, okay, well, long story short there, now my great aunt, who I didn't know, I don't have a reason to know, we didn't, even that side of the family, or that part of the family didn't really talk as much, so I have no reason to talk to this person, but now
she's hitting you up.
Yeah,
is she asking you for stuff, or is it just to chit chat?
It's mostly it's the worst option, which is chit chat. she'll pop up and be like, "What's that about my phone?" And I'll have to explain to her technology, and she's like, "Well, I don't understand." And I'm like, "Well, then why are you ghostly appearing here?" Because I have to re-explain it every time.
Yeah.
She
And so it's not like
her
there's
cognition-
unfinished business. It's mostly just to ask
hang
about
out.
like what's going on in the world.
Yeah, and like she has such a terrible memory that like she every time you explain it to her, she comes back again and is like, "So what is that?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's a phone still. I don't."
Who is Saoirse Ronan? Am I supposed to know who that is?
Yeah, and then anyway, just so anyway, to the sponsor, thank you for sponsoring us. We want you back. Maybe I can put more parental controls on Cameron's web searches. There are already controls in place, but I guess we can put more.
Not on
to
the
try to
search
stop them
engine
from-
that I'm using. You have not heard it. You're too old. Just for us kids. No adults allowed.
Is this the engine you have running out back? Because I have heard that one.
But I said no adults allowed, so why you're not supposed to know about it?
Well, it's a very loud machine.
No, that's not fair. I said no adults allowed. Go away.
Okay, we can go on to our, the next of these sponsors that, once again, we're just trying to win these guys back by giving a little free ad space and then hopefully coax them in. All right, what's the sponsor?
Toes. Just says toes.
You might just be looking at your own toes because they're on your mind right now.
No. It's an email. Here, look at my phone. It's
Oh,
it's an
okay.
email. It says sponsor toes. And look, there's the payment.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Well, thank you to our sponsor.
So let's pump it up a little. Toes are great.
Yeah. No, I use them every day.
Again, they paid us, and I don't know who this is, but we do want them to be happy.
Yeah.
A happy sponsor. So toes, you got 10 of them. Maybe a couple more, maybe a couple less.
Yeah, depending.
Help you stand. You could pick things up with them. I can't, obviously, because of the odd shape and.
But you're an exception. Like that, generally most people can.
Yeah.
Can manage.
And I understand that. Yeah. Animals have toes. Animals have toes. It's super cute. Cats have little toes and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
All right. Thank you to our sponsor, Toes. Okay, so I didn't even want to do to cover this sponsor just because of just how much blowback we've had.
Yeah. Well, I don't think either of us knew how powerful the toe lobby was.
First of all, there's a finger lobby. Didn't know that either. I didn't know there was a toe lobby. I didn't know any of this. So there is a movement apparently, and we pointedly avoid getting into politics, but the toe movement. I don't know if you've heard of all the rioting, the fires, the looting. It's all highly associated with the toe movement, and
it's sort of these. I don't know how you call it, except for maybe like toe enthusiasts.
And they're violently enthusiastic about toes.
People think that they might be protesting something or something like that. No, it's just they're so excited about it that they kind of go out of control.
Some of them, you can see, you can't tell all of them. Like at a glance, you can't necessarily tell that they are toe enthusiasts. But some of them will be holding a severed toe. This is rare, but I've seen it. There's video footage of one. I think you just look up toe enthusiast severed on YouTube, whatever. And there's a point.
No, I'm looking now. You're gonna have to be more specific because there's so many of these videos.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of even. Well, I mean, the one I'm thinking of, it had an Instagram model, and she she was going on about why she loves toes, and And to clarify, this isn't like a fetish thing. This isn't people who, are kind of turned on by toes or any of that. These are no. This is
These are just people who think toes are really valuable, which we all do.
Yeah. Oh, I love a toe. Yeah, toes are great.
Maybe, but maybe to somewhat of an extreme degree.
Yeah. Well, the amount of people talk about, this, just the numbers from this, the pandemic and everything else, and how, just it's very sad how many passed away, but like the amount of violent toe enthusiast related assaults, and it hasn't abated with any of the events of the last year. It has been steady. And once again, we didn't know this when we ran the ad. We had no idea.
We didn't know this, but we do. I mean, we do want to apologize.
Yes, I am so sorry.
Both to our listeners and also to the Toe Lobby, because ultimately we do want them as a sponsor again.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part, is that we are walking a line here where we say it's irresponsible to be supporting such a movement that has such just very strong ties to extremism. We don't want that, but we also want the sponsor. We want to generate revenue.
We need the sponsorship. We need the money from
the money would be really helpful.
I need the money from the sponsorship, and I love toes. Like, not in a fetish way, but just in a,
and not
to help to stand up,
and
not in a violent or weird way.
Not a toe enthusiast way.
No,
but no, I like I said in that sponsorship, and I meant it, by the way. I do use my toes every day. Like, it's a part of me.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty dang cool. And I'm sorry if that upsets some people.
And it will. And I recognize that there's no way to just to say this and sound unbiased and sound like, politically unaffiliated and religiously unaffiliated. Like, I recognize that there are existing norms and trends, but just as I'm trying to make the point clear on my part that I don't, I value inclusivity. I recognize the validity of people, regardless of the toe. Maybe we should move on from there. I feel like we've covered it.
Yeah, we got to stop talking about the toe.
Cameron, do we have a sponsor today?
That is right, Dr. London. I actually am very, very excited about this sponsor. I'm always excited about our sponsors, of course, but this is incredible technology. Are you excited to hear about it?
Yeah. I'm, we're always trying to be on sort of the cutting edge, both with our medical knowledge, but also with, any sort of technological front, especially with telemedicine.
Well, this not a telemedicine company, though maybe this could be something that you could use to, I don't know, impress some of your patients. This is actually a clothing company that we're working with. And they've invented something here, which is incredible, which I'm sure you've seen people who have, kind of t-shirts, and they might have like sort of different light up displays on them, or you've seen like maybe a holographic looking kind of image on the shirt. This company, they've been able to put full huge GIFs, moving images on t-shirts. Isn't that, that's amazing, right?
Oh wow! Like a short video.
I would assume what's your favorite GIF, Dr. Leonard? Is there a GIF that you see on the internet every once in a while?
Yeah, I think it's from like an infomercial. A guy who's holding a bunch of stuff and then he trips and
I know
drops
exactly
everything.
Yeah, you could put that on a shirt. Or I have one where a guy, he's like eating something and then he gives a thumbs up. I think that one's hilarious. And
you've got mail.
Oh wait, hold on. I just got an email from the company. They said
okay,
they're still working on the feature to have custom gifts like that, but currently you can choose from the gifts that they self-select. Okay, that's cool. So for right now, you can't upload your own gifts, but the company I'm sure has like some awesome little looping funny images and different animations, and who knows maybe SpongeBob is on there. I don't know. Who knows that
You've got mail.
Okay, it says no SpongeBob, no Spider-Man, no characters of any kind.
Well, that's specific, but like the one I mentioned might have.
Yeah, or maybe is it a
are they
gif of
listening
someone
in
like
on
giving a
us?
thumb? Maybe it's just a gif, somebody giving a thumbs up or smiling.
You've got mail.
Oh, wait, hold on. No, I got another email that says no, nothing like that. Actually, we've only been able to get one gif to work so far, and it's of a rat giving birth.
Okay, so really, it's not so much a GIF shirt as it is a GIF of a rat giving birth shirt.
Yeah, I get it's. Well, I mean, it is a GIF shirt. It's just the only GIF that can exist on it is
You've got mail.
one. Oh, he sent it over. Oh man, that is gross.
That's there's a lot of blood for one thing, and it mixed with the fur.
So I guess Dr. Lund, we cannot lose this sponsor. We can't be like grossed out or rude about it.
Yeah, you were telling me like this is our best sponsor so far, just in terms of communication and how sort of excited both parties were to have them on the
Just that
podcast.
it's written in an email rather than like a series of toilet paper rolls is huge.
That's brand new for you.
So
okay,
for our listeners, if you want a cool piece of technology and you want to wear to school or wear to your job, or Dr. London wear to your hospital or whatever, if you want to wear a cool moving shirt of a rat giving live birth, well, I guess mostly live birth. That one's not moving. God, man.
Okay, and also
if you want to wear a shirt,
what's the name?
Rat giving birth and maybe having like a partial miscarriage, then you just want to contact our sponsor, deadratshirt.com.
Okay, so they bought the appropriate URL.
Yeah, it sounds no. The weird thing is that it's called Dead Rat Shirt, and this is the opposite of death. It's them giving life. I guess it's ironic in that way.
It's not the complete opposite, because
it's all mixed in there, isn't it?
Of what's being birthed.
I mean, I guess that's kind of beautiful. It's it's life and death, sort of, yin and yang, kind of all tangled in there.
I guess there's some poetry in there, I'm sure.
I don't even think the GIF has looped once. It's just been playing this whole time for like 10 minutes. I feel like if they can fit this on a shirt, they should be able to fit the guy giving a thumbs up or whatever, right?
I would think so. I've been critical of sponsors before, and then we lose them.
I don't know the tech. Well, anyway, deadratshirts.com. Just go there, get your shirt, and wear it to school.
I'm sorry. Just for the listeners, because I'm not positive about the situation, but so the shirt came over on a person. Like, someone's wearing it and it looks blocky, and I'm wondering if it's like if there's just a screen cut out. Anyway.
Oh, you think the person that they came over to demo it just had like a TV under their shirt?
Because it looks like sort of a Teletubby attempt, like that style of having a belly.
Yeah.
But like, it looks really boxy.
Yeah. It looks messed up is what it looks like.
Yeah, and no offense to you, sir. That we're just describing the product, which I guess as you present it. All right, thanks. Okay, so anyway, I guess, but we don't want to lose our sponsors. So, no, if this is the sort of apparel that you prefer to wear, then sure, our listeners. What was the name of that website again?
It's deadratshirt.com. Use the promo code the rat is giving birth.
All right, so first off, that was actually, I really like that sponsor. As we said in the ad, they were great. They communicated well.
I don't know why this sponsor dropped us. No one's told me. What did I do? What did I do wrong, Dr. London? Because I like them too.
See, here's the thing. The sponsor. Do you remember Jeff? How the demo guy who was showing it?
Yeah, I remember
To us?
Jeff. I invited Jeff to my wedding, for God's sake.
I know. But then you had a falling out, if I remember right. Because he ruined your wedding, and that's why you're not married, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a bit of a falling out. And, he was saying that the best popsicle flavor is cherry, and I was saying that's ridiculous. That just tastes like medicine. It's got to be grape. But then, of course, my wife-to-be agreed with him.
And this is during the best man speech.
Well, I mean, this started before the ceremony and went all the way to the best man speech, which usually happens at the reception after the ceremony.
Yeah, but you had an unconventional wedding.
Yeah, it was on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah,
so it was super
on Tuesday
unconventional. Yeah, on like a Tuesday afternoon.
But as I remember, it was at 8 a.m. And so it was.
Yeah, but that's afternoon somewhere.
Right. So, yeah. So anyway, we're all on this aircraft carrier. Jeff is there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the pressure's on because, well, as I recall, the reason you said why he needed to do his speech early was because you needed like someone to kind of copy a little bit for your vows.
Yeah.
Like you just needed some speech material.
Well, and I needed someone to drive the aircraft carrier.
Right.
And so I was thinking.
You assumed.
If he could do the speech now, then during the reception afterwards, we could make sure someone's manning the aircraft carrier, so it's not just like left alone. Because it's a big boat.
Yeah.
I mean, those things are gigantic.
I was very surprised that you got permission, that you got an aircraft carrier.
Yeah. And that they just gave us the keys and they said, make sure someone is driving this thing.
Yeah, because they were actually pretty. The admiral was very emphatic that he was unwilling, and he sounded scared. He said unwilling to leave any of his personnel on board.
I think that guy has never actually captained a ship. I thought it was like the whole time it was maybe like a fraud thing, like he was pretending to be a captain guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, so what I thought was that maybe the ship was haunted, and I don't know if that's because I'm something of a medium now, but
that might be it. I just know I asked him just because I was trying to test him. I asked him what's a sail? And all he did was go sail, the song.
Well, is that not the answer?
He went sail.
Is that the wrong answer?
I guess it's not a wrong answer, but it's definitely not the answer I was looking for.
Well, and okay, it was another strange part was that aircraft carrier did have sails, so which normally these these giant ships do not. They're powered by engines, not.
Yeah, well, but this was a green aircraft carrier,
very climate friendly. So anyway, so Jeff. The demo model.
So because basically he stole my wife, that's why we lost them as a sponsor. What am I supposed to do about that?
And it's honestly, I feel bad having to say it on the podcast or whatever, but eventually you will have to move on.
You mean I'm going to finally have to move off of the aircraft carrier because I haven't left since...
No, well, I mean...
That fateful day?
No, yeah, you're going to have to... I mean, there were smaller boats on there, right? There's a way for you to get off, right?
I haven't checked. Don't know.
I know you've been caught up with, driving around and trying to make big waves with it. Catching people in your wake and whatever. But,
well, and all the news.
Yeah.
I've been reading the news, so I've been busy with that too.
Yeah. So, but regarding Jeff, he and I still keep in touch. He and I are great. He'll tell me pretty specifically his problems with you. and then you can.
Well,
you can
why
kinda
does he
tell-
still have problems with me? I didn't do anything. He showed up
Well,
to my wedding,
here's
made
the
a
thing.
huge deal about the popsicle thing out of nowhere, stole my fiance, and then ripped the sponsor out
Okay.
from under me.
Well,
I-
it's his fiance now.
Yeah,
Well,
okay,
sorry, his wife. His wife now.
he stole my fiance and made her
His
his
wife.
wife.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to apologize for that?
Yes.
So they'll FaceTime me sometimes, and
Like, what does he have to talk about? He has stuff to complain about.
admittedly, it's more. It seems like she's kind of feeding him stuff. Like he doesn't
Okay.
seem to want there to be a problem, but she keeps like you can hear it on the video
Yeah.
call. She's like
Behind
whispering,
because behind everything a man is saying is a woman being a huge bitch.
yeah, well, because he keeps emphasizing. I granted, once again, I don't know, because if he's holding back business, then surely she can't control all of that. I don't know. Maybe, and I once again, I don't want to be. It's weird to do this on the podcast, but maybe consider that she wasn't the best choice for you.
Well, then who was Dr. London?
I don't know if you found her yet. In any case, Jeff seems super happy with the arrangement. Honestly, like Jeff is doing great.
Yeah. I mean, I guess as long as he's happy, right?
Like I went to their wedding. It was so fun. Oh man. And you were there, right? They hired you to be to serve, to be a footstool for them.
Yeah, I was the stool boy.
Which is a new wedding tradition, and I kind of like it. It seems kind of funny.
It's one of those traditions. It's one. It's kind of like a few years ago when saying that throwing shade kind of came around, but that's really like an old timey term that just made its way back. It's sort of the same thing. This is actually a tradition from thousands of years ago that's sort of popped back up and become kind of trendy lately.
And you got to be a
Is
part
to
of
take
that.
you take the ex fiance of a person who's been engaged twice, and you have to be like their footstool.
And yeah, so what a privilege for you to be a part of that. Wow.
Yeah, it was great, and it's just an honor to be part of the wedding party.
Yeah, and to be like geographically, you were there. Yes, you were part in the sense of being there, but like you were kicked a lot and stepped on, and that was mostly your role. And then if you tried to respond or say like stop it, they would inform you that no, that goes against tradition.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's my fault for not knowing tradition. Because
Yeah.
I was a stupid little footstool who never got anything right.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay, you're quoting directly from your lines. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So our next clip, we actually that's all the sponsors that we had to try to get back. There might have been some other one. I think there was maybe one other sponsor this year, but that company was destroyed. So we did want to cover. We've been doing all these chores. We started this chore wheel over the summer, and since we started doing that, we've had the mayor reach out to us. We've had different like the city, the government. We've had all these different independent charities reach out.
We've been getting a lot of stuff done. I'm proud of it, honestly, Dr. London.
But sometimes we, whenever we try to do one of these, well, we call them chores. Really, sometimes they are just straight up charity work. One of the ones that we did, I think, will require commentary now, just to put in the right context for the world that has aged since that was released, if that makes sense. So anyway, without further ado, here is the chore wheel, where we did a movie review.
All of us here today, I don't even have to ask. I assume that we've all seen the movie that every single person in the world is talking about.
Yeah.
Splinter's Choice.
Splinter's Choice.
And every single person is screaming about how genius this movie is and how the cinematography is so magical and so fluid, and how Bronte Chancers was the greatest actor in the world and he should win. Well,
Sorry. Go on.
And that everything about it is genius. And you know what? Frankly, I have to agree. Splinter's Choice, it's an incredible film. I mean,
Yes.
Everything about it mesmerized me. I mean, the part where the mountain actually was a hole and everyone was just looking at it upside down, and then once they realized it, it caused them to fall, and then Splinter said, huh? That part cracked me up, but then also made me think. I thought about that for days.
Yeah, no, that's a good take. That's a good take, Cameron. And that's well thought out. But I guess if you're looking at movies with the critical eye, which is kind of just how I view everything.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Yeah, so Splinter's Choice. Maybe not the movie for everyone, is what I thought. So Splinter...
Yeah, it's not for pretentious doctors. Is that what you're about to say?
Look, I don't mean to have these opinions. It's just when I watched it, I thought what I thought. So the main character, Splinter... first of all, not this actor's best work.
Oh yeah, then what is? Then tell me what is. What has he done better? What has Bronte Chonkerson's done better?
Transtonia. You remember Transtonia?
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That was from a different time, before we had 4D screenings. But sure, yeah. That's fine. I'll agree that movie definitely
Transtonia.
I mean, I have to respect it for at least putting, floppy floppers on the map.
Yeah. So anyway, in Splinter's Choice, the issue that I had with... There came a point in the movie, and I don't want to spoil anything, but Splinter did have to make that choice. And
it was tough.
Yeah,
but it was tough.
The fact that a full 10 minutes of the movie... Full 10 minutes was just him reading a book on the subject to make sure he made the right choice. And just, it was multiple camera angles of just switching.
That's called character development. Are you kidding me? How are you going to establish that he's making the choice that's actually informed if you don't spend time establishing that? I mean,
most movies will do a montage, but there was also no music. There was nothing. It was just... Splinter reading book. And I'm sorry, you know what?
Instead of a soundtrack, it was just the sounds of a baby crying, which I thought was genius. How subversive and crazy is that?
Yeah, which no mention of children in the movie besides that sound. Like, there's no reference.
It's implied that they're off screen, Dr. London.
Okay, so, sorry, Dr. Boudreaux.
Well, this is Dino Go to Brunch all over again, and you hated Dino Go to Brunch because you said there wasn't enough brunch, and you said it was too late in the day for brunch.
That's right.
Which is insane. You know that brunch can go to 4 p.m. Lots of restaurants offer it till 4 p.m.
Not in the country that it was set
Oh my gosh.
I'll maintain that. Not
all
in
right,
that country.
I can't listen to this. Dr. Boudreaux, can I please hear your thoughts on this film?
Well, the movie... I wish you would have known how much I don't enjoy dramas before you asked me to watch this movie. I mean, sure, there was that moment with Splinter and, the pie, and that was great. But Bronte Chancers is absolutely no Will Ferrell.
Nope.
I mean, the whole movie, I'm waiting for Frank the Tank to show up, and instead, the mountain's a hole. And, we're reading for 10 minutes. And for 10 minutes without a laugh, that is, what is that? The laugh to cry ratio.
Yeah.
Whew, it wasn't good. But I will say it was beautiful. That cinematography was breathtaking. And, I mean, if we go to Joseph Campbell, we take a look at The Hero with 1,000 Faces. You got it with Splinter. His choice was an epic choice. And major ramifications. The mountain as a whole. That was a twist I didn't expect to see.
And the pie. You tell me you laughed at the pie, right?
I laughed at the pie. We all laugh. I'm
come
a
on.
human who laughs. And
Lenny
sometimes
Bruce who? Check out the
don't-
pie in Splinter's choice.
Don't besmirch the name of America's greatest comedian.
I'm really sorry about that.
That's okay. But I mean, I was happy that I branched out and saw something that wasn't the 3 movies that I've watched pretty much every day for the last 5 years. So that was nice. So thank you, gentlemen, for teaching this old dog a new trick. Okay, all right, there
Wow.
it is.
Yeah. The trick being to watch a movie
Watch
outside
something
of your
different. Yeah.
usual
Watch something
genre.
different. Yeah, my genre of comedy, great comedy films, the Lenny Bruce,
Yeah, the Lenny Bruce stand-up special.
Lenny
Yeah.
Bruce stand-ups. But here it is. This is the trinity of comedy to me: the Lenny Bruce stand-up special, Muppets Take Manhattan, old school.
And old school.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's done then. We finished that chore for this week at least. All right. So yeah, so that was the movie review, which Splinter's Choice is nominated for how many awards?
I mean, I think every category.
I think every category, yeah. But then,
Even
and
for
there's
foreign short.
which it won it, but like on a technicality, because it shouldn't have. It didn't technically meet the parameters, but they the filmmakers really pushed for it.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, our listeners would have read about it in the news, but when they petitioned Congress. So the problem turned out to be that the actor who played Splinter in Splinter's Choice did some things, and to treat a movie review like a light thing normally is fine, but there was just too much with this. It's like when any actor gets canceled. Bronte John Serson's.
Go ahead.
I can't. I don't want to. I have difficulty comprehending what he did, honestly. So.
You want me to?
Yeah, if you would.
Okay.
I mean.
What's the point of even talking about when everyone knows he stole the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
And that's
Divided it up. He
divided it up and
gave it to the least free countries by capita.
Wow.
And
he live streamed the whole thing.
part of me wants to think that he didn't recognize the importance of the statue or the statement that he was inherently making.
You're just giving him an out.
Yeah, so that is what I thought until he went on to numerous talk shows and said, "I have your freedom now, and it belongs to the unfree." And that's not some courteous thing. That's not me saying, I'm still quoting him here. That's not me saying that I want them to have freedom. That is me saying, your freedom is gone. This is how I cage it.
And then he
End quote.
pointed to a pic of Nick Cage just as a joke. I guess he thought that would lighten the mood a bit
Which it did.
Yeah, people laughed.
A lot of people laughed. And But that only made it more uncomfortable after the laughter stopped.
Yeah.
After like 45 minutes when they finally stopped laughing at, because it was just a very well timed joke, which once again you're so I don't want to, you're mad because you recognize this actor is so talented, and then they just throw away the Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
And
we especially, I mean, Dr. London, as our profiles have risen recently, you know, there is sort of a temptation as a celebrity. You have access to things that, you know, a normal person isn't going to have access to.
Yeah, and I want to say right now, you know, as you and I rise, well, me more than you, as we rise up with the popularity of this podcast, I'm not going to give into all that. I'm not going to give into all the celebrity stuff. That's
I never would.
thing.
That would be shocking if you did. Could not even anticipate such a thing.
Yeah,
you're a professional.
Yeah, and my focus is on medicine. It's the life-saving work, and Annie, and I want to make it clear now, you know, just to dispel any other thought. It takes my full concentration to do what I do. I couldn't, you know, go and hang out with all these whatever celebrities. Like I'm so focused on.
Right. If you were partying with all the celebs and the movie stars and pop stars and you know, the Dust Twins and all these people, then you wouldn't have time to really focus on medicine. No. You're not that kind of guy. That's why that's why there should be more famous people like you, Dr. London, who are humble and stay out of that Hollywood lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't want to, you know, claim anything or push myself up to be something I'm not, but like I'm just a person trying to make their way through life. And in any case, so I just, you know, just to say, you know, we don't want to be like a Bronte Johnson type, I guess.
Just because we have access to these new fancy helicopters that can grab giant statues doesn't mean that we're headed to Brazil to steal that giant Jesus statue.
These helicopters are standard issue. Like this is just what you can get. Like it's not.
Yeah, it's not anything special at all. It's just we have the same helicopters that any one of our stature is going to have.
Yeah,
and we're going to make that pledge to you, our audience, today.
Yes.
That we will not be stealing the Mona Lisa or the Eiffel Tower or any of these
Leaning
famous
Tower
monuments
of Pisa.
No,
also no.
We're not going to touch it.
Why? And I do want to clarify on the helicopter thing. We would have had to pay more to make it unable to lift statues. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like you would have to really significantly. You'd have to have a mechanic crawl in there and power it down.
It's like how sometimes getting a car can also, you know, the ability to run over people is built into the car. There's nothing you can do about that.
But
that's not why you're buying it. You're buying it because you're trying to go to the grocery store. That's why you buy the car.
Yeah, or a tank or whatever you're buying.
But the function of being able to run over people is built in. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't, but there's nothing you can do about it, and it would cost more to try to undo that.
Yeah. So anyway, just our promise to you as a podcast, to our listeners, you know, just only because, you know, this actor displayed such irresponsible behavior with his platform, and we just want to distinguish ourselves from that and say, you know, we won't give into the celebrity status stuff. We're just focused on you, the listener, and
that's right.
Anything else will be, and I'll say it now. If I did anything else, it would be a distraction, and it would be an unethical distraction. You could try me by an ethical committee, and they would find issue with that, like legally, as well. So, anyway, so that I guess that finishes up kind of all we were going to do. You know, we're in this holiday season, but we wanted to squeeze in this chance to just you know, reach out to these sponsors and follow up with this this one chore wheel. We've heard back from a lot of these chore wheels, and maybe we'll start to bring those out a little bit more, where we, there's just follow up that we could do, because there were so many, where the various mayors and continental congresses, where they've all thanked us, or things have gotten worse. Anyway, a number of things. But in any case, we're finished with this one, I think. Cameron, I think we're good. We got everything we need.
So, I mean, you're not going to fire me, right? I still have a job.
That's something that I can't. What makes you ask that, I guess would be the.
Well, this whole session was chastising me for losing sponsors and not being able to predict a man being canceled. So I'm just wondering, am I okay?
Well, and no, I know that I said that you have to let your wife go. You have to move on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can somehow work that relationship into us having that sponsor back, that would. Do you see what I'm getting at here? Like, just.
I gotta get the sponsor back, or I'm gonna lose my job.
Yes, and you already have an in. It's not even it's not even guesswork. It's like you're already familiar. I'm pretty hands off. You take care of the sponsor stuff. I'll hang out with Jeff, but and his lovely wife, your ex-fiance. But I don't want to be more involved than that. Just social.
Yeah, more involved than, planning their wedding.
Yeah, no more than.
Which is what you had.
Yeah.
What you had done.
Which everyone had told me that would be very stressful, but I think it just depends on the couple.
Oh, was it easy? It was just really easy to do?
Well, whenever a couple has a strong enough bond.
Right. It just makes it so easy.
Yeah. Like, I don't even think it was my, my planning skills, but like, they just made it work so well, and they looked so great at the wedding. It was. Yeah,
you can tell when they're happy. It just makes you happier too and it makes the job easier. It's not even a job at that point, right?
That's absolutely right. It was so. You saw the picture. I know you couldn't see from where you were, laying down.
After they'd put me in the coat closet after they were done using me as a footstool. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you couldn't see it from there, but like, gorgeous wedding. The reception. Oh.
Yeah, it looked beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, they allowed you to see pictures. They told me they wouldn't let you see pictures.
It sounded beautiful. It sounded really beautiful.
Yeah, through the coats and shoes, the cleats that they kept putting on you, stepping on. Anyway, yeah. So, I guess to answer your question, do your job. Find some sponsors. Let's find some better guests this next year, maybe.
Okay.
And
we're gonna find. I'm gonna find you.
Like clinical scientist types.
And I'm gonna guarantee that by this time next year, on this podcast, we will have revealed the 10 secrets of the medical world.
Okay. But like also just get the good guests, and also, like good sponsors that will stay with us and don't threaten or hurt them or, have them.
Well, how else am I going to get the secrets out of them if there's not going to be any threatening going on?
Okay.
We can talk about all this.
Yeah.
We'll figure this out later.
I think we're about done. Okay. So anyway, to our listeners, Happy New Year, and hope you hope you don't get canceled, I guess. Is that what we're...
Don't get canceled, don't get pranceled.
Thank you to our producer Cameron. My name is drlondonsmith.com. Thank you to Digital in the House.
That's why there should be more famous people like you, Dr. London, who are humble and stay out of that Hollywood lifestyle. Don't get canceled, don't get pranceled. Don't get canceled. 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 Don't get canceled.
This has been the Jock Podcast.
See ya.
The room is uncomfortably crowded. You murmur apologies as you shift positions slightly, but it does nothing to alleviate your discomfort, and the faces around you almost appear more stern in response, if that were possible. Tough crowd, you almost chuckle to yourself before you regain composure. Time passes, and you grow increasingly frustrated with the claustrophobia, so you start to try to make room by pushing out from your elbows. But as soon as that pressure releases, the gap is filled once again. That's it. You've had enough. You push your way through the throng to the door, bodies shoved aside by the bulk of it, and breathe in a breath of fresh air. One thing is slowly becoming clear. Your stuffed animals are becoming more of a nuisance than a comforting presence at this point. Speaking of a comforting presence, don't forget to leave a 5-star review of the Jock Podcast, in which you share about your unbearably polite encounters with your stuffed animal collection. And consider supporting us by becoming a patron on the Jock Podcast Patreon. And while you're at it, go ahead and share the Jock Podcast with a friend or foe. You can send them a link to your favorite episode, or just send them our handy website, jockdogpodcast.com. And don't forget to take a peek at our posts on social media. We are at Jock Podcast. Thanks for listening.